Welcome back to Franchise Hockey Manager 11 with the Philadelphia Flyers. We start the 2031-32 season and we are currently Cup favorites. I never thought I'd see the day where Michkov and Philadelphia, led by me, would be the talk of the town. Utah also look like they're primed to finish top three, and same thing with Montreal, who could also win. LA is currently one of the dark horses, and McDavid, Draisaitl, and Hoggins look like they're primed to enter the scoring race there. Dahlin, Hughes, and Makar still top defensemen, and nothing's changing with goalies as well. Vasilevsky, currently at 37, is still one of the top goaltenders. Ottinger as well at 32, and Swayman at 32 as well. Before we end up jumping into the season, we'll take a quick look at the history of our team. Currently, points leader is Bobby Clarke. Goals leader is Bill Barber with 420, and then Bobby Clarke has the most assists. So Bobby Clarke getting majority of his points through assists. Wins leader actually is Spencer Knight. He is top 3. He could easily be our winningest goalie as well. He is number 2 in terms of shutouts. Bernie Parent is the top 1. We'll take a look at where Michkov is currently in terms of points. So we have Bobby Clarke here at 1210, and then we do see Owen Tippett actually. Owen Tippett has 676, so half of what Clarke ended up doing. That is insane. So 676 there. Lindros is right there. Mark Recchi. Couturier is actually there as well, 588 and 931 games. So we did deny him of the illustrious 1,000 for us. Oh, there he is, 524 in 526 games. So overall, that is fantastic. And with a decent season, could find him Mark Recchi area, maybe just below Voracek, with a significant amount of less games. Not too bad. See, in terms of goals, though, 225. 225 is right around there. So 225, yeah, I don't see him really. He might jump Gagne if he has a really good season, but it's going to be quite a ways before he ends up passing anyone else. Barber with 420. But we'll take a look more in terms of the history as well. We'll look at our draft. I mean, this draft was pretty good. We ended up getting Marek Stein with our first pick. And I know he doesn't necessarily look like anything yet, but looking at his bio, he was projected to go 29th. We got him one pick later, and he does look pretty good. Temperament and professionalism at 20, I know that affects the stats just a little bit. Definitely an offensive defenseman, but can play two-way as well. He is a 2-star now. He can go to 3.5, and we'll take a look at his scouting report as well. Acceleration is around 16. Passing is elite. Same thing with shooting range and offensive read. Defensive read is also pretty good. So as long as he can improve his defense, should be pretty good. 68 overall so far this season, 67 last season. But it does say that he's roughly around the same as Thomas Cahoot, and then similar to Drysdale in terms of overall value. And then he's best suited as a 4 to 5 defenseman in this league, so he could potentially be starting right now. Strongest part of his game is playmaking, obviously. Above average stamina, that's good. And then good vision on the ice, which we obviously saw for offensive. His personality is flexible. Everyone loves him, and he's not known to be loyal to teams, but that always changes. But not too bad to start things off. Greg St. George was the second pick. Currently 87 right now in the WHL. Last year he was 68, but he's 18. Last season he was only 17. Determination's pretty good. I like his defensive rating to start everything. Shutdown defenseman, so decent pairing. He can play left or right as well. Where was he projected to go, though? He was projected to go number 18. We got him in the second round, so already quite a steal. That was the Surin pick that we ended up getting. So overall, not too bad. I would trade Surin for a decent defender. Potential 4-star. Same thing, better than Cahoot. And then Joel Ronberg, current skills is pretty close to what that is. Strength and weakness, above average strength. Stamina is above average as well. He has decent on-ice vision, which is obviously good. His skating's pretty good. His weakest part of his game is goal scoring, but we obviously don't need that. St. George enjoys the spotlight, and his performance reflects that. Handles criticism in a constructive manner. Team should be aware that St. George is a little prone to controversy, but hopefully we can manage to fix him. Like any woman in any situation ever, thinking that they can fix a man. So fantastic that we end up getting him. Daniel Clem, he's projected to go 51, and we managed to get him at 37. That was also a Bernac trade, which our AI ended up doing, which I regret immensely. He was one of the finalists for the Calder and All-Star rookie team as well, and this guy's face-offs were amazing. He is 66 grade. We should have probably played him. He's already at 3.5 star. He is 24 though, but I'm deeply regretting that decision to allow him to get traded. But Adam McConnell, North Bay Battalion, so another defenseman here. Determination's off the charts. His positioning and hitting's pretty good. Shooting range and offensive read is pretty decent as well, but currently not really excelling at any area in particular. In the OHL at the moment, he is averaging 24 minutes per game. 18 years old as well, 6'3", and scouting wise, we'll take a quick look, just more so in terms of his strength and weaknesses. Good, decent on ice vision, pretty good physical, and doesn't wear down quickly. The weakest part of his game is goal scoring, but again, we should be fine with that. I need defensemen that actually play defense than necessarily push up, just to have like a mix of a couple players that are like that as well. He's noted for his intelligence, and he's one of the brightest people you'll ever meet. McDonald will probably play for free. So cap-wise, this guy seems like he's going to be a gem if he can manage to make the team for sure. Hopefully asking for a significant amount less. With our third round 94th pick, we end up getting Lottinen, who's 18 as well. Projected to go 134. We did reach just a little bit on him, but that's more so because he just looked decent. I know it says 1.5 and 2 star, but I feel as though that wasn't an adequate assessment. Just looking at his determination, his balance, everything looks there. And I know I'm kind of a stat snob for sure. Up and down winger at 18, that looks fantastic. He can also be a shooter. He can kind of play anywhere that we need. Back checking forward, even grinder for that matter, he could probably do pretty decent. And he can only improve from now, so I wouldn't be surprised. Latinen is definitely going to be one of those sleeper picks for sure. Look at a scouting report, and says that he's pretty good physical shape, doesn't wear down, obviously, doesn't slack off in practice. Skating ability is positive, pretty good ability to read the play, and has some hockey smarts. His weakest part is his physical, but he's still young anyways. Latinen gets well with everyone, can adapt, and is a bit of a journeyman. I think we can convince him to stay with us. He does look good though, but even his physicals, his balance is huge. I feel as though people forget that, but right winger is definitely what we need. And now we end up getting another defender. We just loaded up on defense just to try and find the guy that we want, really. We end up getting Bob Turner, who's with the Michigan State Spartans, NCAA. He already played one season with them last season, so this will be a second one. He did get a 73 grade, and taking a look at his bio, he was projected to go 89. We did get him with 113. We got him with the Kolosov trade. We got him and Aaron Berger with the 4th round pick there. Scouting wise, though, we'll take a quick look. Pressure is his middle name. He thrives on it and is noted for his intelligence. So feels though he definitely has to develop a little bit more than what they're suggesting. 2.5 is what the consensus is, but team scouting is around 1.5. Even if he doesn't, it's not really that big of a risk. And then we end up grabbing a player that's going to be playing NCAA as well. A center. We did need a center with the 4th round pick. I mean, he looks pretty good. 64 points in 40 games is something to pay note to. He wasn't really projected to go drafted at all, but his stats don't necessarily look like they should be good, but it's definitely one of those sleeper picks for sure. Determination and aggression and checking is pretty good, so he can easily be our enforcer if we really need it. But he still gets points, so we'll just have to wait and see. It was kind of a throwaway pick. I did allow our AI to pick that one, so it's not on us if he manages to not do so hot. But we'll look at the transactions that we made in the off season. We didn't really make that many. We did get Thomas Cahoot, and he is currently 21 years old, 3-star potential, and his stamina is pretty good. He did play the WHL last season with an 82, and where was he drafted initially? Doesn't really look like he's anything yet, but it's worth a risk. He might end up playing on our AHL team, but who really knows? Columbus offered him for a tryout. He was a 5th-round pick, so contract-wise, not even $1 million, so it's not really going to cost us too much. We can also send him down if we really want to. We did also sign Einar Svensson, who does look very good. 21 years old, physical ratings pretty good. I mean, he was only a 66th grade last season. Determination's pretty good, and does look like he can kind of play anywhere we need. Not particularly great anywhere, but can play two-way, and also just a speedy forward as well. His speed's pretty good, and puck handling's pretty decent as well. He does have a decent offensive read, and temperament is 19 as well. Contract-wise, just a little bit less than what the other one's costing us, but we need these team-friendly deals for sure. And then Nicholas Aaron Olsen, pretty decent right winger that can play center, at least in terms of face-offs. He has 17 face-off abilities. Stick checking is pretty good. I mainly grabbed him for, I mean, all the green, well, not green, but I guess teal that kind of jumps out there. It's worth a risk. How much did it cost us? It cost us 2 years, 775. So even if he ends up bumping around in our AHL, plenty happy with that. But we'll take a look at some of the other, I guess, extensions and other picks. Extended Tippett for 2 years at around $5 million. Denver Barkey at 3 years for around 6. So Tippett we got a little bit cheaper than what he's making now, and then Barkey we ended up paying him probably double than what he was making before. Valentini we ended up extending for 3 years. Lucas Luchenko now 3 years, 6 million. Tonhauser 1.3 over 2 years, and then Louis Carlson and Torquay end up extending for around 1.5. Okulov around the same. Signing wise though, I think not really showing some of the players that we end up acquiring though. Depth chart wise though, Luchenko, Rybkin, Michkov is the top line there for sure. Tippett, Stenberg, and Martin there. Carlson, Barkey, and Demidov. Currently, Fyodorov is starting in the AHL, and Svensson's taking his spot, 2.5 star. Louis Carlson, I mean, he should probably, I was going to say, if we could send him out, we should. But Louis Carlson's going to start in the AHL as well. But it never stays that way. It's always going to change. Anyways, we have 2 second-round picks this season and 3 5ths there as well, 2 6s. So we did get rid of some players as well. We'll take a look at the trades that we managed to do there. Not too many, though. We got rid of, I guess our AI just did that. Interesting. We got rid of Okulov. I don't like that one bit. But here we are. Our AI ended up getting rid of him for whatever reason. I feel as though that was kind of stupid for his second-round pick. Oh dear God! And then Spencer Gill, we traded ourselves for a 5th, and then we gave up a free and Zavragin for a 5th and a 6th to Nashville. Ultimately disappointing though. I don't know why they would trade Okulov for that little. But sometimes you can't control the AI, and should have probably just done it personally. You live and learn. That's 2 seasons in a row that I feel as though our AI kind of took control of that. Granted, we did let him, so it's not, we can't really blame anyone but ourselves. And want to draft a local player again. Okay. Find that rather interesting. They always want us to draft a local one, so I feel as though we should just do that every season, regardless of what we're told. But so far, Hurricanes up 1-1 and 0. Maple Leafs 1-1 and 0. So it looks like they're the only ones that played. Probably, I wouldn't be surprised if it was a back-to-back as well. Just because it's so early. Our first game is going to be against St. Louis, and we'll adjust everything once more and see how we start the season off. Whether or not it's going to be a rough start, and we're going to have to acquire more players, or we can hit the ground running and manage to get our first victory there. Tampa 1-0. Does look Pittsburgh is 1-0 as well, and Rangers are 0-1. All right, we'll ignore that. St. Louis is our first test. We're on the road, and then we face off against Winnipeg. First game of the season, and it's a 6-3 win. Also, Spencer Knight is requesting a contract for next season as well. A bit more than what we want to spend, but we'll have to kind of take it day by day. Michkov gets the scoring off with his first two, and then Simon Karlsson with his first two as well. Martin and then Ripken also getting their first out of the way there. Not too bad. We'll take a look at the lines that we end up doing though. Olsen Mers is our rookie. Misa is also on the right wing. Karlsson, Barkey, and Martin as our second line. Tippett, Senberg, and Demidov as our second line there. I mistook that. Luchenko, Ripken, and Michkov as our top line there. Smith and Drysdale on the top line for defense. Hartley, Jansen, who is one of our recent acquisitions, and then Urich and Ronberg. I think Ronberg plays more lefty, and I was mainly getting him to pair up with Jansen. So, I mean, that's for kind of the future, though. But yeah, look at that defensive rating. How we end up acquiring him, though, we end up drafting him with their 31st overall. Not too bad at all. Kahut is just like, yeah, he's more offensive, but we should have probably traded him away or put him down to the AHL instead of sending away our other player. So that's a little bit frustrating. And Yarick's, his shooting range and his offensive read are definitely what stand out there. Yeah, Jansen and Karlsson. So a decent amount of Swedish players that are also in the mix. We'll end up probably having to do a save where it's just we only draft a certain nationality and see who ends up doing the best in the end. But 1-0 to start this. We now head to Winnipeg and see if we can continue the streak. Wouldn't be bad if we end up going on a win streak so early on. But hopefully Carson has improved, and this season should be decent. So I'll do a few changes there. Askarov with them, but gets blown out 6-1, so most likely we saw their backup as well. Smith with the first two. Ripken, Luchenko, and Martin before Luchenko end up scoring. We do give up one shortly after we end up scoring, though, within a minute after. But 2-0 is not too bad. And where were they? Oh, Winnipeg is 0-2, so we managed to beat an 0-2 team. And another on ice or off ice thing. That is fantastic. I think the more that players end up playing, the more likely that it is that they're going to end up getting into no good. It's rather disappointing, to be honest. And now we face off against Ottawa at home, and then we face Toronto shortly after. So let's see if we can manage to win at home 7-2. Barkey, Michkov, Rybkin, and Stenberg in the first, Demidov in the second, before Jansen and Vic getting his first. Vic looks pretty decent as well. How did we acquire him? We ended up getting him with a third-round pick that we got for Seth Jones when we couldn't probably afford his contract. We now face off against Toronto, who are currently in the bottom, 1-3 to start the season. And then we face St. Louis, so 3 home games in a row. And we do have a good home record, so I wouldn't be surprised if we can manage to build off of this strong start that we've had, and at least compete to kind of get 6-0 to start things off. Demidov out day to day apparently. Lacerated forearm, a lot of laceration, much more than you'd expect. Face off against Toronto here. We do lose our first game 4-3 in regulation, so can't even brag about that. We just came apart in the first. We managed to bring it together, 2 goals in the second and 1 in the third, but ultimately not good enough. And now Demidov is actually hurt. Nope, still same thing. What the hell? Ronberg converts to right D, but I think when we draft him, he could play both. So 3-1 to start this off. St. Louis, we play once more 2-0. One of those losses being to us to start the season off. What? Oh, I thought it said Bobby Clark for a second. I got excited. Demidov at 80 is going to sit on the bench here. And let's see, 1-0. So strong defensive showing. We win in shootouts though, so both goalies got a shutout as far as I'm concerned. Michkov with a goal there, and then Stenberg ends up scoring before Kyrou ends up scoring, but no one else does after that. Merz looks like this. Good defensive, good physical, and decent offense. So kind of jack of all trades, master of none at the moment. 3-star. We did get him in the 29th pick, but I don't even think he was. He wasn't even projected to get picked. I don't think. So this is one of the ones that we ended up taking a chance on because no one knew anything about him, but we look like we were right here. He is only a 54 grade so far, but he hasn't really played top line minutes yet. And he might bounce down to the AHL depending. But already kind of looking decent though. And now we face off against Buffalo. Another home game here. They're 1-4. And I mean, when I mentioned a terrible record before by the Leafs, they managed to beat us. So we're destined to lose this game. And we managed to win the opposite fashion of what the Toronto game was. Michkov with his 4th, Lunchenko with his 3rd, Stenberg and Carlson end up getting goals there before Luchenko scores in overtime for his 4th. And Luchenko and Michkov top in points. So Michkov definitely liked us talking about his stats earlier in this episode, managing to prove us right within 6 games in the season. So 11 points with that one that we get shut out. And how is Carolina already at 10 games is the part that I'm curious about. We only played 6 and we're currently in 2nd. So I can only imagine how many back-to-back games we're going to play. Barzal is now apparently being offered up. Let's see what it would cost. Obviously too much. We're not going to do that. We're going to keep it. I know Demidov is available. We'll give him 1 day of rest here, which we then lose 6-2 away from home. We give up 3 in the first. Rybkin and Svensson end up making it a contest before giving it up after Adam Banak. Oh my god, Adam Banak ends up scoring against us. Currently has 2 goals in the season. He's playing 17 minutes though, which is insane. So 7 games, 5-2 with 10 points is good enough for at least 2nd. So obviously Carolina playing more games has a better chance there. And now Drysdale's day to day. Don't like to see that. And he's still going to play, so we face off against Seattle here. Demidov back, and 4-2 win there. I'm not even... They're 3-3 and 4. Okay. Sam Martin in the first before Martin and Michkov in the second. And then Michkov scoring his 6th goal. So 6-2-0 to start this off. We'll play a couple more, probably the Washington and Colorado one, and we see our first game there. Oh, Drysdale is currently a 63. They still want to play him? No, we're not doing that. Can anyone convert to... I want to see this actually. Let's look at our transactions, and I want to see the Okulov. Okulov's right D. Right D is what we needed. Why would the AI send him away? Yeah, we need a right D, and he sent away our that's so wild. All right, we end up facing off against Washington. We win 7-1. Michkov with the 7th, Barkey with the 2nd before Demidov scores. Smith, Venson, and Demidov in the 2nd, and then Martin in the 3rd. Yeah, that's so frustrating. Why would an AI trade away your right D when right D is definitely an area where you would probably need a little bit of flexibility there? We're going to face off against Colorado here. Does look like we have another injury as well, at least temporary. And there's no way... Okay, Drysdale at least sits. Okay. I was going to say, there's no way they play him with 47%. Aram Olsen is going to get... is going to sit for this one. 7-4 loss at home. That is frustrating. We give up 3 goals, and then Stenberg scores before we give up another one. The third period, we at least make it a contest, but we basically canceled out their goals. Rantanen gets his 4th this season. He is currently 35, and it could be his last season. So we face off against New York before we end up jumping to the trade deadline. Win or lose, we're probably going to end up doing it anyways. But 7-3-0, not bad. Granted, we did lose more games at home than I'd want. I think 2 of those losses are home games, at least. We'll take a look at the development report first. Misa still 3.5. Vic 2.5. His hitting's gone up. Tippett acceleration just a little bit. He only has 6 points, so maybe a mistake extending him. Who knows? Maybe he retires. And now Carson's going to get his debut, or should. Might have actually played a little bit. No, he hasn't played yet. So it's his first game this season. And 7-2 win, that is definitely a good start. Slow start though, down 2-1 in the first, and then Ripken, Janssen, and Stenberg and Luchenko in the second, before Svensson and Carlson in the third. So a lot of new faces, definitely bringing it out for us. We'll take a look at the standings as it is. 16 points is good enough for first for the division, with the same amount of games as Columbus. Columbus currently win now as well. We are balanced, and then next season apparently is win now. Third in the league though, 8-3-0 versus 8-2-0 and 8-2-1. So relatively close with the top teams. Even Vancouver's pretty close there. 52 goals, 32 against. So goal differential is definitely where we shine. Oilers are the only one that's just a little bit better than that, but they also have 2 established superstars for sure. Michkov with 17 points in 11 games. That is his strongest start to date. Ripken with 15 and 11. Martin doing pretty good as well. 73 grade, 15 minutes of ice time, and 15 points is pretty fantastic. Luchenko with 13. Janssen definitely doing great things. 70 grade as well. When did we get him? We got him with the 62nd pick in the second round. So doing pretty good. Barkey with 11, and then even Simon Carlson looks like he's starting off his rookie season 7 points to start. Now we're going to go to goalies. 10 games started for Spencer Knight, 7-3-0, 9-15, and then even Carson in the first game that he ended up playing gets 9-26. So overall, pretty good start for us. Let's jump to the trade deadline and see where we stand there. And as we near the trade deadline, we are currently in first, not only first in our division, but first in the league. 45 wins already in 64 games, only 14 losses and 5 overtime losses. Spencer Knight has been lights out, 32 wins, and he's played significantly less games. So it does seem like we do have definitely the recipe for this. 32 wins, 11 losses, and 4 overtime losses. 47 games. He might end up getting to 60, but Carson doing great in relief, 13-3-1, a 911 save percentage. So the way that I look at it is if we end up winning this year, we do have to re-sign Spencer Knight. But if we don't, I might just rely on Carson to fill in for that. But looking at the rest of our players, though, Michkov with 84 points in 64 games. This means he could get a career high for sure. The highest before was 91. I think he is destined to at least eclipse that now. Ripken with 67 in 59 games. Luchenko with 67 and 63. Martin with 61 and 64. And Demidov with 56 and 61. Drysdale still turning it up at 29 with 56. He's had a decent career with us as well. Stenberg with 53. Only his third season now with us. Tippett with 52. Doing still pretty decent. I do think he's worth this. The 2 extra years, $5 million. He's producing $5 million worth of work for sure. I mean, if he can get 65 points in 79 games, I will be plenty happy. 43 for Smith, and then Barkey doing a little bit worse with 38, and now he's commanding a little bit more than what he was before. So $6 million. I don't want to have to part ways with him if he can't live up to the expectation. But if he kind of regresses just a little bit, we might be forced to. But as it stands, he is a pretty decent third line center, or just even third line player for that matter. But yeah, Martin should be on the second line there. I didn't really see Demidov's stats jumping out at us. But trade deadline, trading block, and I don't know how Bedard is on the trade block. Let's just see how much it would cost. I will give a first rounder for every single season. Obviously, we're not going to do it regardless if they accept it or not. So first rounder, a first rounder next season, and they're still not going to entertain it. And still not entertaining it. Let's see a second rounder this year. So why even why would you even offer that? Yeah, this is ridiculous. Okay, fine. We'll have them take half, and they're not willing to do that. So not even for second rounders. Let's look at players. Yeah, let's look at our goalie here. And still wouldn't entertain it. We'll add Michkov instead, just to see, but we'll do make this work instead of actually going through with it. And they still wouldn't. So why would he be on the trade deadline, trade block? There's no way that he's going to leave, and it's kind of ridiculous that he would even be on it in the first place. So yeah, no one could afford him. No amount of first round picks for sure. Askarov also on the trade block. Most of these players 1 years. Lafreniere was 6. 6 years left. Jesus, that's insane. Hayton, I could use some of that. Hayton's only 63 grade though, but I think with our team he could play a little bit better. Two-way forward seems like the only thing that he really is. I'd rather a bit better if I can. Luke Evangeliste. I mean, decent everywhere. 64 grade, 40 points. Let's see what we would be able to. We'd be giving up too much for him. I think we should be good with the team that we have here. And I think we're just going to kind of ignore it. We do lose 5-2 though, which is very unfortunate considering Kosa is the current league leader in wins with 32 or with 34 wins. Spencer Knight with 32. I don't think we end up going for all the wins. I think we give Spencer Knight as much rest as possible and just kind of cruise through that. But like I said, I would definitely like it if they were a little bit better in terms of like trade deadline. I get sent trades and stuff like that. I could switch on whether or not I wanted to accept trades or not, and just have it a little bit more active. Because right now you could just easily forget about the trade deadline and nothing really ends up happening. I know they want me to sign a star player as well, or re-sign a star player. We'll take a quick look again at the trade block. Fantilli would be good too, but I don't understand why they're willing to offer him out. I'm okay with giving up our first round picks, so we'll start with that. He might overshadow Michkov, so I might not do it just for that. And then Ripken is the only one. So we'd be giving up our first line center for a first line center. Yeah, it seems wild. So we'll leave it at that. I don't really think there's anything like a left defender maybe, or a right defender if there was an upgrade. I would do it. We'll sim this one. 5-0 win there. And Jansen, Michkov, Smith, Barkey, and Carlson end up scoring. So I'll take a quick look at it again. I did remember seeing one at one point. Jacob Sanderson. We'll offer him one. And we did offer him before. They are, like, it seems like it's pretty set to happen here. Kahut is the other one that we could give up. So I think we can just give up probably another pick or even rights. Let's look at rights. Schumacher, no. Kratsyuk. And there we go. So at least we got one trade underway there. Didn't really give up anything. Jansen now has a knock, and I don't know who's got sent down. I guess, yeah. Where is he? So Sanderson's not even necessarily good enough. Pavel's better. Jesus. But he is good of a defensive defenseman, so that's definitely gives him the nod. And I thought we already adjusted that when he was hurt, but we'll do it again. Yeah, it didn't really do anything. But 46 wins now, closing in on 50. And unless we end up going on a massive cold streak, I don't really see that ending. Yeah, broken jaw, 1 to 2 weeks, dislocated. I could send him away too. But it's crazy that Jake Sanderson was available. I'd even re-sign him potentially. But he should add at least depth to it, and probably a third line defender, which I will take all day, every day. Yeah, not bad. Sada wasn't going to play for us anyways. And how has he already played 2 games for them? Oh, yeah, how has he played 2 games for them already? That's insane. I thought it was only 1 day. But we'll take a look. We'll do it again. And yeah, he's on our third line. I don't mind that one bit. See how he does. 4-1 win. Ripken with a shorthanded. Ripken again with an even strength one before Barkey and Stenberg scoring respectively as well. 4-1 win, not too bad. Yurik's now right defense. So it looks like, yeah, we should be good. Michkov is at least top 3 in the league in terms of points, but still a long way from McDavid and Bedard. But he is one of the top right wingers as well in the league. At least getting decent assists, so setting up some people for sure. And now we face Ottawa again, so already Sanderson ended up playing against his former team. I think we only have him for the 1 year, so Macklin Celebrini, 85 points. Not bad, so he's having a good year as well. And Jansen now going to sit. Okay, that makes sense. See if we can manage to beat them. 4-2 win. Andrew Cristal scores for them, and then second half or second period was all ours. Stenberg, Michkov, Stenberg, and Barkey all getting there. Jake Sanderson getting an assist as well. Now we end up facing New York. We go on the road for the back-to-back game, which I find weird. I feel as though back-to-back games should always be either away or home, depending on where you are. I find it weird where you end up playing one and then you end up having to travel for the other one. Doesn't really give an advantage. It's actually probably the biggest disadvantage that I would think of. Especially when it's the home one being your second one. And then Carson gets a shutout here. Misa ends up getting his 10th. Carlson with his 16th, and then Misa scoring again in the second. Second period is definitely our period. We either concede early, we come back in the second, and then we either keep it going or we end up letting it completely fall from under us in the third. But with a handful of games left, we're hopefully just going to cruise through to we could have our most wins ever, actually. But as you can see, that's why we weren't looking at being too active for the trade deadline. 8-1 loss there. That is heartbreaking. Against Washington, who is not good at all. Suffer our 16th loss of the season. Not even when that happens, I don't even look at how well they do. Celebrini now passing Michkov in total points, which I find absolutely wild. And it's crazy to see Jack Hughes on the Devils and them not doing well. Same thing with Bedard on Blackhawks not doing very well. Obviously, Edmonton's broken in the game and they can always do well. But we now face off against Celebrini and see if Michkov can at least outpoint him here. We do lose 4-3 though in regulation, so we don't even get a point for that. Harley and Michkov getting points there, and then Olsen and Huang ends up scoring against us to end it in the third. So suffering our 17th loss, not necessarily the greatest. We have 11 games left, and one of them's back-to-back here. Carson's going to get the nod. It could very well be Carson taking over in the playoffs, though, just because of his save percentage. A 7-5 win. I mean, he did concede 5, but I won't take that from him. Smith has 14 on the season. Carson with the 17th. Like I said, the second is definitely ours. Hartley and Barkey end up getting goals there. We did get outscored, though, but we do score a decent amount. And then here in the third, we put it to bed. Smith, Yerix, and Tippett getting his 19th. Tippett's still doing pretty good for his age. We do get the illustrious 50 win, but we still have Columbus hunting us down. I mean, they are 11 points down with 3 extra games that they've played, but still hunting us down nonetheless. I do think we can go for a decent amount of points here. And at least end up eclipsing our total by a significant margin. 7-4 loss there, so that's not going to help. Carson ended up getting the nod there as well, looks like, but probably in relief, I imagine. And Dallas is a fringe team. They shouldn't. 79 points is not really close. They're only hanging on because their division is the weakest one in the NHL at the moment. And despite being the weakest one, you still have Blackhawks not able to make it, which is wild. Bounce back here, 4-1 win here against Winnipeg. Svensson, Tippett end up scoring in the second, and then Demidov and Barkey scoring in the third. Simon Martin with 40 points though. He should win the Calder. Actually, it might be a second season, so maybe he doesn't win the Calder, but definitely would if he was. Misa now hurt, and I think Vic is the rookie though. Let me look at Martin. Oh, it's his second season. Yeah, last season was 52. 6-2 win there. Barkey with his 20th, Michkov with his 36th and 7th. That is insane. 19 for Carlson, and then Luchenko with his 26th before Svensson with his 20th. 52 wins now. And my voice just kind of went super weird there. Need to take a sip of water. Our back-to-back game here against Florida. Person's going to get the nod. So back-to-back against Florida. 2 games there. 4-2 loss there. That sucks. Vernhoff, I remember him. He's looking good too. 2 years. Oof. I'm definitely going to be waiting for that. If Vernhoff is available at the trade block next year, I'll definitely look at trading for him. I know we have so much depth of like 3-star players. We just need to improve it to being 4-star players, even getting rid of half of them for that, and just give it to like kind of a more struggling team for that. Our next game against Florida here, 3-0 shutout. Spencer Knight with his, I don't even know how many shutouts now, but 10th goal for Drysdale. Michkov now with 38, and then Svensson with 21. So, I mean, I think Michkov is going to get a career high in terms of goals this season for sure. We hit 111, so triple digits is great for points, obviously. I think this might be the first time that we do hit triple digits there. Obviously, take a look at the end of the season. Facing off against Toronto, who has been our Achilles heel this season, we do manage to at least win 5-2. Janssen, Sandberg, and then Michkov, Barkey, and Svensson. Again, we do concede 2 in the third, but not to worry. 2 games against New York. First one at home, and then second one on the road. The good thing is it's not too far, but it's still kind of like when you think of it, it's obviously a little bit annoying if you were to have to do that. Like it doesn't matter if you're on the road, I guess, but first game against Islanders, 8-2. We end up winning. No goals in the first. Then Svensson, Tippett, Carlson, Luchenko, and Misa in the second. And then the third, we do give up 1 in each of the 2 periods there. And then Harley, Demidov, and Barkey all getting on the score sheet there. Michkov not scoring there, which is shocking with an 8-2 win there. Bjork ends up extending. And now Carson's going to get the nod here. A little bit cold though, but should still be able to fill in there. 4-1 loss. That is unfortunate. Let's see his grade though. His grade was 62. So I'm not necessarily liking us relying on him, but it's just more so the contract. We'd have to give up something in order to give Spencer Knight longer or longevity on it, but he is top of the league for sure. So I'd have to look at all the top contracts of the goalies in the offseason to really make that decision. And I don't want to make that decision lightly for sure. 2 games left here, and then we'll jump to the playoffs. We'll get everything ready for that. 98 points though with Michkov though is insane. If he can get triple digits, I'd be so happy there. So first game against Columbus here of the last 2. 4-3 loss though in regulation. Ripken with his 35th and Svensson with his 24th. And no points unfortunately. Oh, 1 point there. So 1 point remaining on Michkov. I didn't see his assist. That's crazy. 55 wins though. And I don't think anyone, oh actually, one team could have caught us. San Jose surprisingly with 113. So we do end up winning though, but they are definitely on our tail there for sure. So last game of the season, 4-3 win. Hartley, Benson, Demidov, Smith, and Ripken. Oh my God, he doesn't get it. Michkov with the 61 assists. Oh my God, he ends up getting 100. So at least his triple digits there. Couldn't be happier. And yeah, he manages to get 100 assists. That is fantastic. Or sorry, 100 points. That is crazy. And 4.5 star potential there. 100 points 39 goals and 61. He should have been able to get 40 though, but I think that's definitely his best. 40 was the most goals that he scored. He could have easily passed it. That is unfortunate, but the most assists for sure. We're gonna have to highlight that. Power play goals was 5. Then power play assists he had 13. So the only other time was 20, 29, 30. But grade was the best. So obviously him being better definitely plays a factor. But we know we finished top of the league, so let's focus on the players. Luchenko was 79 in 81 games. Rybkin was 76. Demidov was 73. Martin was 72. So definitely an upgrade as the second line right wing. How many? 15, 22. He's not playing as many mids as you'd think. Demidov is probably playing more, so he's actually probably third line then. Third line minutes is insane. Tippett now with 58. Still pretty good though. Obviously much less than what he was doing before, but he's dropped down in his lines for sure. Stenberg was 64, so a little bit better than his career best. And then 53 for Barkey, so I mean, that's what we're paying him for sure. 53 for Smith, Svensson with 49, and then even Misa with 47 is pretty good. Taking a look at the goalie stats though, 25 games for Carson, 15 wins, 5 losses, and 1 overtime loss for 906. And then Spencer Knight playing much more games though, 61, so just barely eclipsing the 60 mark. 41 wins, 16 losses, and 4 overtime losses. Let's see who we're going to end up playing in the. Oh, I guess we'll hit continue once more. We'll look at the award nominations, but we'll see who we're going to play. And oh my God, another one. All right, so we'll take a look at the standings. Wild card. So we're going to face Panthers with 87 points though. I don't know how well we did, but their away record is pretty bad. Our away record is 29 wins. It's a little bit better than I would say for our home record. Or sorry, our home record is better than our away record by like 2 overtime losses. I hate the on ice off ice incidents, but we'll end up doing this quick, and then we'll jump to the playoffs. So we'll just end up seeing the nominations and then see where we are for that. So Vezina, not even, oh my God, not even considered. That's disappointing. Drysdale for the Norse. Svensson for the Calder. So 49 points. Benbridge with 43. So we might end up getting a Calder here. That'd be fantastic if we do. And then Ivan Stenberg for Lady Bing. And obviously we don't get nominated for Jack Adams or anything like that. That is ridiculous. Number 1 in the whole league, and somehow not even nominated for that. But we'll jump to the playoffs, and hopefully we can manage to get another Stanley Cup in the trophy cabinet. Jump to the matchup with the Florida Panthers, and meeting so far this season, 7-5 win, 4-2 win, and 3-0. So 2-1. They end up beating us the second matchup, but weirdly enough, they were all in March. March 16, 24, and 26. That is kind of weird. So it's such a short time window, but it is kind of recent, so it's not too bad for us. They have Barkov. Barkov is 36, Tkachuk is 34, and Luke Hughes is 28 versus Luchenko, Demidov, and Michkov. So we're obviously significantly younger than them. George is their goaltender, who is better than Knight, but I mean, not necessarily by much at the moment. Injured list is Sam Reinhart's out with a broken toe, and Linus Eriksson has a broken hand as well, but it's not letting me see his stats. Weird. Who was actually, well, he didn't do that well for them. 58 grade. But we'll jump to the series here. We'll actually look at the rest of the matchups first. So San Jose against Vancouver. I'm assuming San Jose wins. Edmonton's going to win that one as well. We're going to go with Calgary, Minnesota. I believe that we're going to beat Florida. Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh going to win. Just because I don't think Columbus is rated that high. Gonna go Montreal and then Boston as well. So game one here is Luchenko, Rybkin, and Michkov, Svensson, Stenberg, and Demidov, and then Carlson, Barkley, Martin, and then Tippett, Carlson, and Misa. Smith and Drysdale are going to get the top nod, and then Harley and Janssen, and then Sanderson and Ronberg are getting the nod there as well as the bottom line for us. So let's see if we can manage to win game one here at home. We managed to get it out of the way. 5-2 win there. We concede early in the first. 112 is pretty wild. Stenberg then evens it. Luke Hughes gives them the lead. Demidov ties it back. And then Michkov with 2. Good to see him getting on the score sheet early on. And then empty net goal for Jamie Drysdale as well. So we take the series lead 1-0. And Montreal also leading. Calgary leading as well. So far it looks like our predictions are correct. I thought I said Minnesota though, so I think St. Louis won that game. So game 2 at home, 7-4 win. We'll take that all day. Sanderson gets his first. Svensson and Barkley in the first as well. Luchenko gets a shorthanded before then scoring an even strength one. Harley with his first, and then Svensson with his second in third period. But at that point, the game was already pretty much decided. San Jose up 2-0, Edmonton up 2-0, Boston up 2-0. So far, it looks like most of our predictions are right. We go on the road now. Let's see if we can manage to get a 3-0 victory. So 5-1, we end up winning. Sam Martin with his first. Luchenko, Drysdale, and Stenberg score, and then Demidov scores in the third. Yeah, we're not going to touch the praise after win. We now have a chance to sweep them. I mean, we should. I mean, 117 to what, 87? Pretty significant difference between the two of our teams. And everyone looks fine. Won't make any adjustments for Game 4. We win 4-3, so we managed to get the sweep. It does take us to overtime, though. Luchenko scores in the first to tie it up after they scored earlier. Drysdale scores in the second to give us the lead. Luchenko scores early in the third, but they tie it up with Koivunen and Tkachuk. And then Owen Tippett scores his first of the series and first of the postseason in overtime. Only 9 minutes in, though, so not too bad. Now we just wait our opponent. Toronto's actually leading 3-1. Wild. I would have thought that Montreal would have been primed to do that. Series 3-2 now, and San Jose is leading as well. So at least we get a decent amount of relaxing. Toronto actually leads. That is insane. Pittsburgh also knocks out Columbus, so I was right about that. Toronto's the one read that I had wrong. Anaheim now beats Oilers. Oilers were up, too. That's wild. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Oilers were up 3-1 at some point and then end up obviously dropping the series. I was wrong about the Calgary-Dallas. St. Louis also beats Minnesota, so I was wrong about that. San Jose Sharks make it look easy against Vancouver 4-2, and then Boston 4-1. But Leafs, that is shocking. 4 seed. Realistically, we should be playing them, but I guess we'll play Pittsburgh anyways. Gonna keep rolling with the same players. Our matchup so far this season, 6-3 win, 4-3 win, 6-3 win, and 5-0 win, which means that we're destined to lose the series because we did so well against them. But game 1 at home, let's see what the result is. 6-0 loss. Yep, that's what I like to... Yep, we're not even going to look at any of that. That is ridiculous. So obviously we have to make some adjustments. Boston leads 1-0. St. Louis leads 1-0. I already knew that we're going to lose immediately, too. It's so disappointing when it happens that way. So we take a 1-0 loss in the series. See if we can manage to bounce back. Yerix is now taking over for Sanderson. Game 2, we win 6-0. That is weird. Almost all of them in the first. Michkov, Martin, Ronberg, and then Carlson with 2 before Vic gets his first in the second. No one scores in the third. And that is all Drysdale is now hurt. It's fantastic. Torn UCL too. Yeah, he's not back now. So Midyukov's gonna now slot in, at least on the left. That's so disappointing. We're obviously not going to delay that. Series tied at 1. We now head to Pittsburgh, but missing our top right defenseman is definitely a blow that we weren't expecting. Torn UCL. That is insane. He might not even be back for next season. It could be a full season. Game 3, now in Pittsburgh. 4-1 win there, so we take the series lead. Michkov in the first, and then nothing happens in the second. Smith, Misa, and Michkov score in the third. Nice to see Michkov with his fifth. San Jose leads 2-1, and so do we. I didn't realize it was a double rivalry, though, so that's pretty cool. St. Louis leads, and Boston looks like they're primed to sweep on Maple Leafs. I'm surprised it doesn't show the rivalry, because clearly they are rivals. That's weird. So development report, we'll take a look. Stein now looking pretty good. Offensively looks good. Defensively looks decent. And even his physicals, but obviously his temperament looks good. It kind of sucks that it can't go over 21, no matter how much you want. Lantinen's still like looking good though. He's now up to a 2.5. He was at a 2 before. In terms of potential, so I do like seeing that. Determination is still there, and he is still 18, so definitely what I like to see for sure, but looks like a overall great right winger. We can even play him defender if we really wanted to, so I'm happy with that. And Vic now improving passing, Carlson with his shooting range, Greg St. George, I don't even remember this guy, but he looks alright. Left, right, D. And then Tippett, shooting range, shot blocking, and acceleration is now down. He is now a 3-star player. Kind of sad to see him fall from grace like that. We'll adjust everything again, because I think it's going to change it. Sanderson now taking back third line duties. We end up winning game 4, so 3-1 series lead. Stenberg, Svensson, and Luchenko get goals in the first, Luchenko and Carlson in the third, and then that is all she wrote. I thought that was a goal for a second, but 5-1, take the series lead 3-1, and Boston still 3-0, so they didn't play their last game. It would be nice to get a lot of rest as well, but didn't really bode well for us for the first game of the series. Hall of Fame nominees. Interesting. Obviously, I'm probably going to pick Kessel. Yeah, I'll pick Kessel. I think the player that we wanted got drafted anyways. An interesting sweep from Boston. So looks like that's the team that we're going to face if we end up beating them at home here. Game 5, 8-2. So yeah, we cruise through. Mercer scores for them, but in the second we come alive. Harley, Jansen, and Barkley end up scoring. Michkov scores a 7th. Tippett scores his second. That's pretty low. Michkov with 8, and then Jansen and Martin. So it's crazy how good our team is when Michkov shows up for the playoffs. Dallas leads 3-2. San Jose is also 3-2. So let's see who is the West people. Tied 3-3 for both. That is interesting. San Jose has to pull through. Anaheim beats them. Oh, that's even better. And then St. Louis ends up winning 4-3. So we end up facing off against Boston, though. That is crazy, though. St. Louis and Anaheim. I mean, Anaheim hasn't won for a while. St. Louis, probably pretty close to it after. I think they've... When was the last time they won? 2018-19. So, that is a while ago. Boston last one. Okay, that's their first one. 2010. So, equally just as long. Alright, so let's see if we can manage to beat Boston here. We'll change up our lines once more for the matchups. So how many games did we play against them? We played 3. We lost the first one, lost the second one, and won the third one. So the third one's more recent. We will take that. Cole Sillinger's their alternate captain. Interesting. So game 1 at home. We do have home ice advantage. Let's see if we can manage to get the win here. 4-1 loss. That is not a good sign. 4-1 loss. And then Luchenko with the only goal, but Hagens obviously destroyed us. We're definitely missing Drysdale right now. Yeah, we go down 1-0. Let's see if we can manage to change things up for game 2. At least tie it up. Game 2, 7-4. So at least we make it even. Janssen scores in the first. They take Antonio Stranges. Oh my God. I had high hopes for this guy. I think it was like 2 years ago I did. Rybkin and then Yarix end up scoring, but then the third we just destroy them. Martin, Rybkin with 2, and then Martin with the shorthanded empty net goal. Crazy though, Rybkin ends up getting a hat trick. So we now head to Boston with the series tied. We are the best road team in the NHL right now, so we should be able to win this one. At least one of the two to keep it tied. So game 3, see what we can do. 5-4 loss, probably in overtime. No, it isn't. We tied up in the first. Stenberg ends up getting his 4th. Luchenko gets the early lead before Adi ends up tying it up. Then we just come apart in the third. So not like last game. Hagens then scores with in 17 minutes and 27 seconds. So let's see if we can manage to at least tie it up before we head home. St. Louis also up 2-1. Nylander planning retirement. How old is he? He is 36. Yeah, that is probably the retirement age in this game. All right, let's make the adjustments necessary. No changes, it looks like. Game 4. We win 4-2, so we tie it up. Olsen scores his first, and then Hartley gives us the lead. Barkley and Carlson end up scoring there in the second, and then that is all she wrote. Series tied at 2. We head home now, and St. Louis also leading. So St. Louis is probably going to be able to bury them, right? But let's see if we can manage to do it. Game 5. 3-1 loss. Why are we losing at home? This is wild. And Rybkin with the only goal. That is... We're going to lose this one, aren't we? Sanderson can play right defense now, apparently. That is wild. So down in the series. Yeah, I don't like that one bit. We now head to Boston. We have to win on the road. Head to Boston here. This will be 2 years in a row that we end up getting knocked out. 7-3, so we managed to at least tie it up. Stenberg, Michkov, and Smith then give us the lead in the first. Carlson end up scoring, and Barkey and Luchenko, and then Luchenko scoring in the third for his 10th goal of the season. And Tiffin's now hurt. 4th line, though, so we'll obviously have to do this again. We'll ignore it. So game 7, though. At least we have it at home. Granted, we haven't been doing great. McDavid also day-to-day with injury, but he's not playing in the postseason at all. Game 7 here. It looks like Carlson's going to slot in for him. Or Fyodorov, actually. So let's see if we can manage to get the lead here, or the win here, actually. And go to the finals once more. Oh my God, this is back-to-back seasons where we lose in the conference finals, and we lose it to Boston, who only had 99 points. They didn't even have 50 wins. And we lost in such terrible fashion. Rybkin with the only goal. That's so... You know what? I'm going to agree with the criticism. Screw that. They have to learn. Next season, we're going to have a new goaltender too. That's going to be the reality. Boston knocks us out. Boston's just going to win too. Boston leads 1-0. I mean, they have 6 more wins. Boston wins this. 2-0. They're going to sweep. And let's just wait for it. 2-1 though, so don't manage to sweep. You're going to go up 3-1. 2-2. Honestly, just so disappointing. We should have been able to win this season. Now we have to watch someone else's team raise the banner. Three-two for St. Louis, so it looks like a Western team might win back-to-back seasons. Our East is not living up to their potential for sure. Hall of Fame vote. Oh, Cavi Boolin's there. Chris Letang. Oh, Patrick Kane, Malkin. Yeah. Might as well go with the most likely winners. Osgood should have already been in there, and then we'll go Phil Kessel too. Can't deny the championships. And is it going to be our winner here? 3-3 tied. Let's see if Boston can manage to win. And Boston wins anyway. So theoretically, NHL math, we would have won. Disappointing. Utterly disappointing. We'll take a look at our stats in the postseason though. See what areas we kind of need to focus on. So, postseason. Michkov with 23 points in 16 games. That's championship worthy. Luchenko with 22, Ripken with 16, Stenberg with 13, Hartley with 12, and then Demidov with 12. So, not that bad. Barkey with 9 even. So for a third liner, that's pretty good. Sanderson with 7, and then we'll take a look at the goalies. Probably just goalie, I'm gonna assume. And I mean, Carson played one game, conceded 2 goals, 909 save percentage, also like pretty much identical to Knight, who was 11-5-0 with 1 shutout and save percentage of 910. Goals against 262, so we should have been able to win. We just didn't produce offensively, that's for sure. So unfortunately, that is the end of that season. We'll take a look at our history again, like what we did at the beginning. We'll do the player index and see how far he moved up. So now with 608 games, just a couple of games more than Recchi, he is almost level with them. So 624 in 608 games, he can probably make the jump to the 700 club probably next season. So probably beat Lindros and McLeish. Tippett still at the top there. He's now top 5. I don't really see him going any higher than that unless he plays the 2 next seasons, but given the fact that he is starting to regress, 58 points in 78 games, I don't really see him doing that, but we do have him for probably 2 more seasons. He might even retire after that. But obviously the focus is Michkov, who is now 27, and time is ticking. So we still probably have at least 10 years in it, maybe. So hopefully you guys like this episode. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more, and thank you for watching. Until next time.